Hi guys, so today I thought I would do a tag. It's been a little while since I've done one. I found a music quiz, music tag, whatever you want to call it, online. I've got it on my phone. I'm hoping my battery doesn't die because it's an iPhone and 12% could basically mean anything under the sun, so yeah. But yeah, let's just get to it. Okie dokie. Which band or artist do you own the most albums by? Ooh. I think it's probably Westlife, if I'm completely honest. I do have a lot of Bryan Adams ones and Maroon 5, but I think that overall probably Westlife released more albums than those people. Bryan Adams might be a close second though, to be honest, so between those two. What was the last song I listened to? It was a song by Shane Filan from Westlife. I'm seeing a gig of his soon, and so I was just doing a bit of revision, as I like to call it, some musical revision before going to a gig. What was the last show I attended? Ooh, last music gig I went to. It's probably Matt Cardle. But last gig, because that was quite a small thing, that was the Stereophonics, so yeah. Let's see. What was the greatest show you've ever been to? Well, there's lots of different shows I've seen and they were all good for different reasons, but I think the greatest overall probably has to be Robbie Williams at Knebworth. It was just the atmosphere of that place and the sheer amount of people that were there. It should have been horrible, if that makes sense, like that when people normally would drive me round a twist. But it was a day from hell actually, to be honest. We got there at 11 AM and I think we got home at about 5 in the morning. We got trapped in the car park for 4 hours. Their parking system was hugely flawed and they just couldn't cope with the amount of people that were there, so it was all a bit hideous. But we turned around at the end of the gig and went, at the end of the day when we got home, we went, you know what, it was absolutely worth all of that hassle that we had to go through because it was just such a good gig. He was really good. I mean, he's really entertaining. I wouldn't say he's the best singer in the world. He's definitely not the best singer that I've seen, but he's probably the best entertainer, if that makes sense. So there we go. That's that very long-winded answer. What's the worst show I've ever been to? Ooh. Well, there's been support acts that have been pretty damn hideous. Like Kelly Osbourne actually at that same Knebworth show was hideous. And Atomic Kitten. Whew. But I would say probably the worst show I've been to that they were the actual people I went to go and see. It's probably Blue. It was just nothing very exciting about their show for some reason. Probably because it was Blue. But yeah, I think it was partly an atmospheric thing because we were in a stupid big marquee tent hideousness at Butlins. But yeah, probably that. There was just nothing amazing about it. What's the most musically involved you've ever been? Well, karaoke, or no, I suppose I did when I was at school. I did music and I did expressive arts. It was like a mixture of drama, dance, music in one subject. I did those for a few years, so I had to sing a few times in public. It was interesting. Not the best singer, but I enjoy singing, so sucks if you're around me and have to listen to me, but hey. What show are you most looking forward to? I don't think what I've got lined up. I know I've got Shane, like I said. I've got Ben Haynow tickets. I'm trying to think if I've got any other music ones. I don't think I have actually. I think that's all I've got for now. Normally I've got a whole great big host of them lined up. It's a bit ridiculous, but yeah, I think I've only got those two this year so far. So I'd probably say Shane. I've seen him before. He's really good vocally live. So yeah, we'll go for that. Oh, I thought my battery had died then, but it had not. What's my favourite band shirt? I've only got a couple. It's not really... Yeah, I don't really have that many. I've got a Maroon 5 one, but I've also got one that I bought in America, which is specifically Adam Levine because it's to do with The Voice. And it just says Adam wants me on the front, and I wore that to a Maroon 5 gig because I'm really hilarious. What musician would you like to hang out with for the day? Probably Adele. I know that's probably quite a common answer, but She just looks like she's really fun and isn't stuck up for a start. She seems like she's quite normal, but yeah, I think she thinks she'd be really funny. Failing that, maybe Ed Sheeran, because he's quite funny as well, I think. Yeah, there's loads, to be honest, but I think I could hang out with them without actually fangirling the whole time, whereas if it was, say, Adam Levine or, well, many other people, I'd be a bit like, oh, hello. So I would embarrass myself and I would not wish to do that. So yeah, we'll go with either one of those two. Who is one musician or group you wish would make a comeback? Am I allowed to say Westlife? I feel like this whole video is one great big Westlife chat, so sorry about that if you could not give two flying shits about them, but I like them. Other than that, another group I'd like to make a comeback. Who split up? Do you know what, as tragic as it is, I quite like Take That to be a whole again. Like, I was never that gutted when they broke up the first time, and the changing members of the band, like, it doesn't upset me, not that fast, but I would now not want to go and see a Take That gig because it's just Mark, who I'm not really a huge fan of, Howard, who I do like, and Gary, which I love Gary, but I'd rather just see him by himself in that case, whereas if Robbie and Jason wanted to come back and it was a whole, like, proper five-piece again, then I'd go and see them. So yeah, probably those. Who is one band or artist you wanted to see live but never see? Oh, what? Who is one band or artist you've never seen live but always wanted to? I've been really lucky. I've seen a lot of people live. I'd like to go back in time and see Bon Jovi, like early 90s. I don't really want to see him now. The latest albums they've done haven't really thrilled me, and I think his voice is a little bit shot now, whereas, I mean, no offence if you're watching. Yeah, probably Bon Jovi, but like I say, I'd prefer it years ago, I think. I don't really think there's anyone else, aside from maybe the Backstreet Boys in the 90s, again I need some time travelling. I don't really think there's anyone else that I haven't seen already that I'd like to see. So yeah, there we go. Name 4 or more flawless albums. I think that's pretty difficult, to be honest. There's always going to be one or two songs on an album that you're not a huge fan of. I'd say Maroon 5, Songs About Jane, is an album that I could listen to probably forever and a day and never get sick of. A lot of time I overplay albums and get really bored of them really fast, but theirs I've played so many times and I've never grown sick of that, so yeah, that. Actually, Adele's 21 is pretty damn flawless. A lot of people don't like her. She's really, really popular, obviously, but I do hear a lot of people moaning and saying that she, like, it all sounds the same, it's really dreary, it's depressing. I just think you've got to be in the right frame of mind to want to listen to a whole Adele album. Like, it's different if it's on the radio, it's just a one song or whatever. But I think if you just want to chill out, or if you are feeling a bit sad or whatever, I feel like it's a really good album. Like, it actually ends up being kind of uplifting, but, you know, that's just me. What else would I say? Two more at least. Stereophonics, Performance and Cocktails. Love that album, it's a great album. Really, really like that. Let's go for Robbie Williams, Escapology. There's some great songs on that album. I'm not so sure I'd say it's flawless, really. There's probably a couple on there that are dodgy as hell, but in general it's a really great album. Any more for any more? I'm gonna have to go for a Westlife one, so which album is the best in my opinion? I think it's probably gonna be World of Our Own or Turnaround. They're both really good albums, but I think World of Our Own, I think that's got a lot of really good songs on it, so we'll go for that. Okay, next question before I get lost in a black hole of music. How many music related videos and DVDs do you own? Ooh, that's a good question. Probably loads. I've got lots of Westlife ones, I've got lots of Robbie ones, I've got lots of McFly ones as well, actually. Because they're great too. I feel like I've not mentioned them yet. That's pretty harsh. I love McFly. They're great. And actually, They're Above the Noise album's really good. I think that's not their favourite album. They've come out and said that they weren't that chuffed with it when it was finished and done. But I actually really like that one, so just slapped that back a few answers ago. Who else have I got? Oh, I actually think I've got a couple of 5 and 911 videos from like properly back in the day. I reckon I've probably got about 30, which is quite a lot, I suppose. Oops. This next question I cannot answer. It says, how many concerts or shows have you been to in total? Hundreds, just putting it out there. I think I've been to Westlife. Actually, I don't even want to say how many times I've been to Westlife. Probably too many is the best answer for that one. And all the other bands and that I really like, I've probably seen them all sort of maybe 2 or 3 times, if not more, and there's a lot of them. So, and I've seen 911 an awful lot of times too. Yeah, hundreds. I couldn't even give you a number, I apologise. Oh, here we go. Who have you seen the most live? That's probably 911 actually. As much as I've seen Westlife a lot, that's all big proper shows I've seen. Whereas 911 I've seen do like little venues and big shows. So the combination of both of those together probably means I've seen them more than anyone else. What is my favourite movie soundtrack? Ooh. I think it's going to have to be Bodyguard. There's probably many others that I'm forgetting right now, but some of the songs from Whitney Houston on that soundtrack are just amazing. Absolutely killer, so we'll go with that. What was your last musical phase before you wisened up? In the early 90s, I took a bit of time out to listen to Offspring and... oh god, what was the band called? They did In the End. Oh crap, what are they called? Linkin Park, for crying out loud. Why I did that just disappear from my brain, for fuck's sake. Right, so Linkin Park and the Offspring, they were a bit of a phase. They weren't bad, they weren't great. I just listened to them a lot. Like Welcome to Americana, I played to death. Like, that was a bit ridiculous, but yeah, there's not really any music I still listen to that's like that now, so I think that was definitely a bit of a phase. And the last question, number 20, is what's your guilty pleasure that you hate to admit liking? Well, to be honest, it's one of Westlife 911 or One Direction. I feel like they are all people that get mocked when I say I like them. They're all like, oh, that's tragic. But I don't really see the point in having a guilty pleasure. I think that if you like something, you like it. To hell with anyone else and their opinions. Like, it just doesn't really matter. As long as you're not hurting anyone, then, you know, what you like is what you like. So I don't think I really have a guilty pleasure as such. So there we go. I'd like to go back and adjust my answer slightly with the Bon Jovi one. One Direction. I'd have liked to have seen them. I didn't because I couldn't deal with the hideous girl screeching that I think would have accompanied one of their concerts. But I actually think they're alright. I think they're musically far better than they were to begin with now, and I think if I'd seen them a couple of years ago I would have really liked that, so yeah, I'm going to go with that. So yeah, that's the 20 questions. Thanks for hanging around if you managed to make it all the way through all of them. I quite enjoy doing tag videos, so if there's any other ones you think I should do, then feel free to just pop it in the description, pop it in the comments. I'll leave all these questions in the description box in case any of you would like to also do the music tag, in which case feel free to link me to your video so I can check it out for you. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.